At American Collegiate Academy, our athletics department is an essential segment of our school's culture, offering a wide array of sports for student involvement, including baseball, basketball, football, and cheerleading. Each of these programs are designed to cultivate a spirit of teamwork.
At ACA, what we try to do is make sure that we put a good structure in place for our student athletes. For example, with our coaching staff, we've had former NBA guys on our staff that's now coaching in other places, but they started off getting some of the fundamental work here. And a lot of times we draw those type of coaches because they love what we're putting in place. Like it's that old fashioned, hey, let's make sure we got a good foundation before we start doing some of the other things. And so for us, that's been very, very important to make sure that our coaching staff, their basketball IQ is at a different level as well, so that one, the kids respect them. Two, when they're giving instruction, they're not giving them the wrong instruction. So many times, you know, I hear coaches saying things from the sideline that just don't make sense. I'm not trying to say this is better than that, this, that, and the other, but in our program, what we're trying to do is make sure we teach and develop.
A lot of these kids, they come over here, they want to go and play at the Division I level or go to college basketball in general. So we provide that platform for them to go out there and do it. And I tell everybody when they get here, we're going to provide a platform, we're going to put you in front of the college coaches, but you have to go out there and perform.
The staff members, the coaches that's on our staff all have either played, they have a lot of experience, they understand the concepts, but they're able to articulate what we're actually trying to do and what we're actually trying to develop in each student athlete.
So it's just consistently about showing up to practice, being consistent about anything, being on time, being consistent when it comes to your practice schedules, learning how to sit here and build a routine for your passions. And I incorporate that in the way I coach. I incorporate that in the way we run our routines in practice, stretches, drills, what defense I expect every single time when you come into practice. We have some non-negotiables too regarding me as a coach as well, and what I will and will not tolerate. But also, it's not even just for the respect of me, it's for the to respect themselves as players. Because that's the type of game they're into. They want to respect this game. But in order for them to do that, they got to respect themselves.
Go, Bubba, 1, 3, family on 6, 1, 2, 3.
One thing we do here, we push you and we prepare you for that next level so that when you get there, you're already prepared and it's almost easy because you've done it before. So those guys come in, they want to work, they have goals in mind, and then we just push them to get to those goals.
The student athletes have to be open to learning. Everyone doesn't know how to do everything the right way the first time, right? And it's not an embarrassment to ask questions. I always think it's people that's very, very smart. They ask questions. And the smarter you are, the more questions you ask, because you want to make sure that you understand exactly what's expected of you all the time. And so we all go all the way down. When we interview a coach, we're asking them all this, 1, 2, 3, 4. I love coaches that's married. I love coaches that have families, because I love coaches who've played in college, who've gone through these experiences, because they can always share, you know, some of those experiences with those players. I love coaches who had hard times coming through, because that means they had to grind, they had to really work, they had to really learn how to do what they're doing in order to get to where they're going. And it's a lot easier for them to articulate, you know, what they went through during those times. I know a lot of guys, and I played with a lot of guys as great players, but it's very, very, very hard for them to articulate what that means, right? And so it's hard. Everyone can't be a coach, in other words, right? It takes a special individual to be able to coach, especially young people, because you got to have patience, right? And you have to understand their mindset, where they're coming from, and you have to meet them where they are and help them move forward.
What did you do after college?
Played a little bit of professional ball overseas, and then ended up getting a tryout with a couple pro teams. Ended up having a cup of coffee, played with Cleveland, played with New Jersey, and then ended up playing overseas for about maybe 15, 16 years. Different countries, New Zealand, Australia, Spain, Germany, China, basically around the world.
I got the opportunity to play in the semi-pro league out in Sacramento for the Sacramento Mountain Lions with a former NFL coach, Denny Green. And then from there, I got a tryout with the Colts, and then I played 6 years in the NFL with the Colts, Broncos, and the Dolphins.
I've coached so many kids over the years that's gone on and did things outside of basketball. One of my students now has a law firm in San Diego. He went to Harvard, and now he has his own law firm practice. I had a kid that went on, he was a national championship bowler. I got kids that's played in the Major League Baseball, basketball, football. I got a young man now who's a superintendent of schools. I got coaches, for example, I just shared one of my former players, assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks. One of my players is a head coach of the Denver Nuggets farm system. And so, you know, we've had so many players come through the program that's doing so many other things in life. And that's what I get excited about, because basketball is a tool to be able to help them move on to some of the other things that they've been blessed to be able to do. And I see it all the time. One of our former players helped start Uber, right? And so it's fascinating to me to just see these young people out here making a difference, not only in their particular community, but also across the country. But that's what they're looking for when they come here. One, they want to learn how to play. Two, they want to get that exposure. You know, in that grind session, we're playing against some of the top players in the country every weekend. In the past 3 or 4 years, we probably had, I think, 10 kids get drafted in the top 20 in the NBA. You know, a kid like Jalen Green that's playing in Houston right now, he was in our conference. And so those are the type of the level of competition that we're playing against on a daily basis, and you get exposure for playing for that. And the other part of it is when coaches come and watch the grind session games, they know you're going to get a high level of basketball, but also you can see how competitive a young man is. Does he really understand the game? Does he know how to make adjustments? Can he make adjustments on the fly? Because coaches on that level don't have a lot of time to teach the basic fundamental thing. You have to have some of those things ready to go, and then they help enhance in their system. And so that's what a lot of our student athletes are looking for when they come to play for us here. But then the other part is academics. We're not joking around with that. You know, a lot of times I think, and I was one of those kids that think because I was a good basketball player, I could get away and skirt through school. You know, I had a mom that was no nonsense, so she straightened that up pretty quick. But a lot of times I think young men especially, they kind of want to rest on their laurels. They don't want to put the work in on the other side of it with the academic part. And so education, we're very, very serious about that. I mean, our team GPA for the last 3, 4, 5 years has been over 3.4, 3.5 as a team. SAT scores well over 1,400. So we've been very successful not only on the basketball court, but also in the classroom. And so when a student athlete comes here, that's what they're looking for, and that's what they're going to get. And we make sure we talk to the parents about that, and everybody understands it's a process. And it's not going to happen overnight, and sometimes there's some bumps in the road, but the ones who learn how to handle those bumps and not let them take away from the goal or keep moving forward are the ones that end up being successful.